Welcome to the latest Raider Talk podcast episode. As you know, we've been doing these podcasts for the last year or so. Right now, we're recording live during the shutdown, the COVID-19 crisis. So these podcasts take on a new purpose and meaning. They've always been aligned with creating more community and connectedness in our school community, but now, obviously, we're really trying to connect with people because everybody is really separated with this social distancing. That's now kind of a new normal or a new way of life for us. We'll get through it and it'll be better down the road. But right now, we're trying to connect people through podcasts, through daily messages, which we'll communicate more down the road. But I'm very excited for our guest on this podcast, Mr. Brett Provenzano, Superintendent of Schools. I'm very grateful for his time. He's been probably the busiest person around the last 2 weeks, trying to lead and manage this oncoming crisis and the school shutdown. So I very much appreciate your time, Brett. Thank you for being here.
I'm glad to be here. Thanks for asking me to be a part of this.
Absolutely. A quick, intro story on Brett. He's really impressed me, not because he's my boss. I'm saying this genuinely. He's exemplified leadership under fire. So when he started in his role as superintendent about 4 years ago, he had a financial crisis to deal with. He's dealt with that on a personal level. Most people listening know that my son Wyatt was diagnosed with leukemia a year and a half ago. He's doing great, on pace for a full recovery. But during that personal crisis, Brett was there giving me daily messages for the 1 month that we spent in the hospital initially when we got diagnosed. So two quick pieces as to, I firmly believe that true leaders, leadership is exposed during times of crisis. So those two quick examples speak volumes to Mr. Provenzano and his leadership. And obviously lately with this school shutdown, COVID-19, he's been working tirelessly for weeks. Most people don't see what he does behind the scenes, but I saw him meeting daily, every day, all day, probably not sleeping for the last 3 weeks, meeting with community health, the health department, with area superintendents, with district leaders, to try to plan mindfully for, okay, this is going to come, but how do we do this in a mindful, planful way? So we're not just shutting schools down, but we're taking care of people and taking care of students and families in the process. So again, we're really, really excited to have you, Brett. He also has multiple perspectives. He's the district superintendent, as you know, but he's also a parent. He's got two kids in Fairport District right now, one son in college, and they're all home right now. So he's dealing with the stressors of being a parent with 3 kids at home, which a lot of parents that could be listening are dealing with that right now as well. And his wife, Kim, is in the healthcare industry. So, they're dealing with a lot of stressors as well, as everybody is. So this is kind of a conversation about, hey, how are you dealing with that? And hopefully people out there can, find a common thread and build a little more community around that. So before we get into the challenges, Brett, really quickly, what are you grateful for? We're going to have weekly themes with these messages on, the first week is going to be gratitude. So amidst all this new normal and all this stuff going on, simply approaching things with a sense of gratitude is a powerful tool to center yourself and to take care of your own mental health. So, and I know you subscribe to that as part of your leadership approach. So tell us, what are some things you're thankful for?
Well, first of all, again, thank you for letting me be a part of this podcast. I've been listening to it for the past several months, and I think it's definitely, captures the essence of who we are as a Fairport community. And I think that's what I'm grateful for. We have an incredible community, and those who've known me know where my roots are. I was in Webster for 45 years, and there wasn't many places where I'd be willing to uproot my family and bring them to a community with such a big heart and a caring heart, full of incredible, caring individuals who want to do the best for each other. And of course, the Fairport students and community are central to that. So I'm incredibly grateful for this community. And like I was saying, I brought my whole family over here about 5 years ago, and it was simply because of our Fairport spirit and community. When I think of our community, I think of a heart, and I think of the love that flows through many different areas, whether it's in the arts, the athletics, whether it's how we're treating each other on a day-to-day basis, brotherhood, sisterhood, so many things to be grateful for. And and during these times, that's what you try to lean on is our source of power and strength is each other, and you're starting to see it happen in so many different ways as we start to go to the second phase of this journey, and people taking care of people making sure that people are eating, and making sure that people are mindful of mental health and wellness, and trying to inspire people. So in a nutshell, that's what I'm grateful for, is this caring community and this pervasive, irrepressible spirit that I frequently speak about, because it's lifted me up, it's lifted my family up, it's lifting up countless people, and I'm proud to be a part of it.
I love how you said that. Especially the optimistic part at the end. You said lifting people up. Besides taking care of our own, taking care of each other. You and I were talking before the show, but we're going to come out of this stronger than we came into it. And all these there's a lot of challenges, obviously, but there's a lot of opportunities. Like right now, we're reaching out to people on a new format. There's people learning new things. So we're going to come out of this stronger than they came into it.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. We're struggling. This is different. There's new norms. This concept of social distancing. We're trying to figure out how does that translate. But amid all of this, all of the uncertainty, all the questions, I've seen so many selfless efforts. These efforts to again take everybody where we are and lift each other up. The Saturday last a week ago Saturday, on moment's notice, I called all the administrators, and everybody came at moment's notice to operationalize some of the details of the great planning. The Friday before that, we had lead teachers from the K-5 world and our lead teachers in the 6-12 world, all mobilized to create learning activities that you're seeing played out. And now we hand that over to the staff as a whole, and you're starting to see again, and I'm seeing this because my children have the same teachers that our listeners do. They're reaching out, going the extra mile. There's challenges and fun learning opportunities. We have morning shows happening every single day. There's going to be mindful minutes coming, not only from FHS but from our mental health and counseling staff. And again, there's an incredible effort happening in our community. We have students who are in need, and we have breakfast and lunch stations being set up. Every morning we have our cafeteria workers who are coming in, dedicating so much time and effort to prepare meals, and we have transportation members coming to help deliver those meals. And so that's beautiful and wonderful, and again, a source of inspiration for me as this is all unfolding.
Absolutely. And another to that point, another addition, we've got students reaching out saying, hey, what can we do to help? What can we do to help? And Brett's son Jake was one of those leading the way. We had a group of graduates from a year ago wanted to be a part of something, and we had a food drive going, so they jumped at a moment's notice, say, hey, we're in. And they were driving around the community, as I had to instruct them to be very safe and cautious about distance and so forth. But they were awesome. They chipped in, they helped out, and they gave back to the community, which is a very proudful moment as an educator, as a coach. I'm sure, obviously, as a dad, just to see people stepping up to take care of each other. Again, in a time of crisis, leadership happens from every level of the community. So again, another very positive thing. I would add too, there's so much free content out there right now because of the situation. There's athletic programs, there's educational resources. People are stepping up to help out because they know everybody's in the same boat. We're all in this together, and people are providing so much of their own expertise and skills out there for free to help people get through this.
if you think about what happened, how fast this came on, we literally built this thing in moments notice. Educators coming together, doing what's best for our students, doing what's best for our school community and each other, and to see it all come to fruition. As everybody was coming into our buildings last week, being very respectful of this new era. Social distancing was at a premium. People were calm and organized. But to mobilize all that, again, I'm repeating myself, was just inspiring to see. And now seeing what's happening in, social media circles, what's happening, how teachers and other staff members are reaching out to students and community members. There's a lot of creativity, there's lots of full hearts and lots of love out there. And that's central to who we are. And that's what I'm most proud of.
That's great. That's great. I love the positive energy. But from your perspective, what's been the hardest part of this whole situation for you?
The unknown. You try to draw on past events, and I would say things like, well, let's think about the last pandemic, and we really have no reference for that. And I think there's high levels of uncertainty. There's exponential factors that are affecting how this has taken shape, and that unknown has created a lot of trepidation, uncertainty, and you really want to make sure when you're speaking, when you're communicating, that there's clarity and that there's purpose and that people have a good idea of what we're trying to do. So that's what we've been really trying to focus in on, is making sure that the information that we gave was meaningful, relevant, and given in a timely way, so people felt like we were organized and had a good plan in place. And once you got it out there to the staff, it's just been amazing seeing how all that planning and all that pre-work came to fruition, and the staff has just taken it to a whole new level.
Absolutely. Like you said, it's the unknown, but what we do know is we're all in this together, so that knowing that we're all in it together, knowing that we're all in the same place, I think is empowering, because, people are going to be supportive as things change, when it's all fluid,
Well, just to continue to develop what we were just speaking about, I had a lot of people, colleagues, Monroe County networks and professionals that we've been leaning on. Dr. Mendoza has been a true friend to our Monroe County schools, providing us up-to-date information. Monroe County Executive Adam Bello has been a strong partner. Monroe County superintendents, speaking to them daily for the past several weeks has been helpful, asking questions, because it's just not me sitting in a room here trying to figure it out. I've been leaning on these experts and the networks that we're tied to bring this information forward to our community. And then how we manage it and make meaning to it is what we're seeing in front of us with how we're implementing it. But again, when you're going through something like this, you try to latch on to people you trust. You try to ask questions and be open for feedback, and know that we're all doing our best trying to do what's best for our greater community, and of course our children.
Mm-hmm. Well said. Switching gears, maybe not, but what's the best part of your job on a daily basis, whether inside this situation or just in general, looking back in the last 5 years?
Oh my gosh, seeing it all unfold in front of me, and it's very inspiring. I get to see the K-12 perspective and the beauty and wonder of our schools, from kindergartners to our third, fifth graders trying to explore and find themselves. And then you go through the middle schools and the excitement that occurs in those buildings, and then we enter 9th through 12th. Our students are starting to figure out who they are, and you see their voice, and seeing that happen, in the opportunities that we give our students in Fairport. We're fortunate that we have a Board of Education that really strives to provide as many opportunities as possible for our students, so they could find their personal best. And you're seeing that at kindergarten, you're seeing that through the middle schools, all the way up through the high school ranks. There's programming, intentional programming that gives students opportunities and a platform to define themselves. That's a joy for me. And seeing our staff, continue to build upon experiences and empowering staff to be creative, so students can be the best version of themselves. That's the best part of my work, is being able to see that in a systemic way.
And I see evidence of that. You're everywhere, and I'm very proud of that. You're so visible. You're at places and events that sometimes I got to remind myself to be at, and I got to remember that you're doing that on a K-12 level. And I could tell you genuinely take joy in the people business and interacting with people and being part of those events and sharing in the joy. So to your credit for being everywhere and living your mantra.
That's what this is about, right? That's why we got into it, so we can be the best, or help other people be the best. I get pure joy in helping people be the best version of themselves, so they can support students and support each other in the best way that they know how. And that's exciting for me.
Absolutely. Well, I'm no professional, and some people that know more than I do have encouraged me to keep these short and sweet, because people like short snippets as far as synthesizing information. Any final messages? There's a lot of, as the uncertainty. There's a lot of students out there, kids that are thinking, "Hey, am I ever going to perform in front of for a concert again? Is my work going to be in the art show? Am I going to play my senior season? Am I going to have those experiences?" I know we don't know the answers, but I know there's parents out there that are struggling with the joy of being with their family all day, but struggling with the stress of managing their family and working from home. And some families have, like you, family members in the healthcare field that are in the front line. So we got staff members that are enjoying connecting, from afar, but also struggling with handling this situation. So what's your final message for any and all of the Raiders out there that are, struggling through this uncertain time?
In the name of brevity, in that same tone, it's faith, hope, and love, right? Have faith that we will get through. Have a lot of hope in our future, and love your way through it. And those ideas, those principles are enduring, and you can apply them to any part of your life and through any struggle. Having faith, hope, and love, and trying to grasp onto those ideas in all their forms, I feel will help us be, or help us see ourselves to the other side of this. You're right, there's lots of unknowns, but I am confident that we're going to emerge stronger. I have lots of faith in our Fairport community. I have hope that we're going to move past this and be stronger, and that's because of the love that spiraled throughout every corner of our organization.
Well said. As you're saying that, I'm thinking, additionally, just gratitude. Live in the moment. Some things are out of our control, but we can control how we approach the day with faith, hope, and love, and taking stock of what we're grateful for in the moment. So again, appreciate your time, Brett, very much. I know you're very, very busy right now, so thank you for taking the time. I know it's important to you to send some of that faith, hope, and love out to the Raider Nation as we're getting through this moment in time, and that's what it is—a moment in time. We're going to get through it. So again, appreciate your time. Thank you for being here.
This is where I belong. I'm honored to be part of it all, and I embrace it. And I'm looking forward to seeing everybody out and about soon. But in the meanwhile, take care of each other, take care of your family, your brothers and sisters, your classmates. Reach out to them, and have faith, hope, and surround yourself with lots of love.
Absolutely. And again, I appreciate your time, appreciate your message. All the Raiders out there, look out for more of these podcast episodes, some daily messages, and some more content coming your way, because we're going to try to keep you connected. We're going to promote these when these get posted and released. We're going to promote them on Instagram. And we're also working on a Fairport High School YouTube account to help you stay connected. So everybody take care, be well. We'll get through this together.